Get your Godzilla figures at Big Bad Toy Store at the link in the description.
Dragon Ball, horror, kaiju, and more. Steven's Toy Reviews.
Hey, hello there collectors, it is Steven here, and welcome to another SH Monster Arts review. We are out of the Monsterverse, and we are back into the Heisei era. Today we're going to be taking a look at the SH Monster Arts Godzilla 1989. This has been a release that the SH Monster Arts line has been flirting with for nearly a decade now. The original accessory set release came with the Super X2. We had the SH Monster Arts Kokyo-Kyok Godzilla 1989, and we had two releases of Biollante, one being a repaint that did admittedly come out the end of last year, but still we've had so many different 1989 Godzilla vs. Biollante releases, and we didn't have a proper SH Monster Arts Godzilla 1989 until now. And oh boy, at $95, a lot of folks are questioning if they should pick this up. Now, here's something that I do want to make note of. I've paid full price for this, and I'm pleased. So, let's take a look to see whether or not BioGoji is worth adding into your collection, and you may be pleasantly surprised. One thing that I will absolutely not ignore here is going to be the teeth paint. On mine, I think mine look rather good. The teeth, they don't look all that bad. Not perfect, but I have seen some where unfortunately, I do think that with that blue fin sticker on the box getting support, one, you'll have backing from a US retailer, so fantastic. You're going to get support if there is a big quality control issue, and if push comes to shove, Bluefin should have your back because that's what they're here for. But generally, I've not seen that be a huge issue, especially with mine here. So just keep in mind, teeth could be a big thing. Now, the eyes, here's the thing, they're symmetrical. But I don't necessarily think that they're as good as the Kokyo-Kyok one, which we'll see in a minute. But I'm not going to ding at any points because I've always been pushing, make them symmetrical, make them symmetrical, make them symmetrical, make them symmetrical. And quite frankly, BioGoji, the eyes are symmetrical. So, yeah, I'm gonna give you the points there. So with that out of the way, what else is there to talk about aside from Yuji Sakai is back once again, which is great, with a new sculpt. Questionably, maybe they somehow were able to shrink the Kokyo-Kyok sculpt because there are a lot of things that are similar, but regardless, Yuji Sakai, new sculpt here. And the best thing about this is that this is basically what Sakai is known for. He knows how to sculpt BioGoji. And it's clear whether it's going to be a 30 centimeter X plus, a gigantic, did he sculpt the gigantic X plus? Doesn't matter. I'm making a point. A gigantic BioGoji figure, or even one that is going to be under, this is the best part, under 6 inches, he nails it. And it doesn't matter what the paint application is like, because the rest of the paint application for the figure, I think the gloss in the mouth looks fantastic. The rest of the paint application looks great. The dorsal plates are phenomenal. The different grays that are used, the different whites to bring out the details, the dry brushing is great. Now for the actual plastic, they used a nice charcoal gray, which, hey, that's what Godzilla is known for. And they used different sort of blues and grays on the dry brushing to really enhance the details. Something that the SH Monster Arts line has kind of danced around has been how they've been able to shade the claws on the hands and on the feet. And here it's fantastic as well. Generally speaking, I'm not going to say this is a perfect release because there's no such thing as a perfect figure. In terms of sculpt and paint, the paint application side of this figure does have some drawbacks. However, the sculpt here is phenomenal and it looks like it pretty much walked off the screen. They could have just sold this as a gray unpainted figure, and I would still say it looks great because Sakai knows what he's doing. Interestingly enough, BioGoji's articulation, when you take a look at it and you really break it down, it's a bit of a, I guess you might say they're kind of going back to the original Godzilla release. If you take a look, we only have the waist joint. You take a look at the hips, there's nothing really fancy going on there. Arms kind of look similar, tail, nothing really fancy, but you'd be surprised, this guy can move and groove. So what do we got? Well, first and foremost, we really do have to talk about what's going on with the mouth. So a lot of folks are seeing pictures of Godzilla looking like that, or Godzilla looking kind of like that, and looking very awkward. with the jaw. It's going to be on a ball joint connection, and I think it's technically going to be a ball joint that is connected into a hinge that allows it to open and close. If you take a look all the way in the back there, that's what it looks like. So the jaw, you can easily manipulate that to get it to look very super wonky. So yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Now, I believe that this figure may have been sculpted with the intent for its mouth being open. Like, that's probably what the prototype looked like. And then with the added articulation, maybe that's why the mouth has that little bit of a gap. But, I mean, it's fine overall. So Biogoji is going to have a mouth that opens and closes. Now, for the neck, we have a few different points of articulation. We do have this portion of the head, which is on a ball joint, and we get this much range of movement. So he can definitely look down, no problem. Okay, well, we can twist and turn from side to side and rock, which this Godzilla suit is known to do, along with the one in 1991. So that's good. Then we have a ball joint system here as well to help turn and rock and go down. And what about, well, we can twist and also turn at the base here as well. So looking in all directions is fine. Even when we go ahead and talk about the waist joint here, except up. Biogoji really struggles looking up. He can look up at an angle, but if you're going to use a beam, like I showed you in the picture earlier when he's going up against a Super X2, it's pretty difficult to get him to fire a beam from another release upwards. So just something to keep in mind. For these shoulders, we do have ball joint movement, and as you can see, they spin around. Very nice. Can Godzilla T-pose? Well, oh, yeah, bicep kind of likes to pop off. We'll go ahead and pop that back on. There we go, nice and easy. Yeah, we can kind of get a T-pose in Godzilla, which is cool. So the biceps are actually going to be on ball joints, as you kind of saw there, and they swivel around. The elbows, I disassembled those as well because it's an interesting system. So this is going to be very similar to other sorts of lines where we're going to have a ball joint where the elbows plug into the bicep. So we can get a little bit of twisting movement there. So we have another point of movement, which is good. And then the forearm is going to be on a ball joint as well. So we're going to be able to simulate hinge movement and get other twists and turns. So that's about as straight out as that arm can go and as straight out as that arm can go. Wrists are going to be on ball joints, so we can rock the hands around. Now, one of the most iconic things for the Heisei era of Godzilla suits is going to be the ability to get the arms really close to the chest. And can this Godzilla do it? Yeah, he can. He could do it kind of like this. I don't necessarily think as good as the Kokyo-kyoke, which we'll see in a bit, but he can definitely strike that pose if that is something you're looking to do. Now, for the waist, which is just going to be a ball joint here. Interestingly enough, if you take a look at the 1995 mold, we do have that waist joint and a joint up here. Okay. We get rather nice rocking movement for that waist joint. So, congratulations. This works rather well. So we can twist and turn Godzilla. So this way he can kind of like shoulder bash into an enemy. So that's good. He can lean that far forward, that far back. So pretty solid range of movement there. For the hips, ball joints, and he can go out that far. So very similar system to the original Godzilla release, though one thing that they did take note of from the other Heisei releases is there's this little floating piece of plastic which helps to block gaps. So there you go. Knees, ball joints as well, as you can see, where they plug in, so we can twist and turn them. And then there's going to be hinges there, which allows them to move, which is good. Ankles, I'm going to go ahead and pop this off so you can see. They're going to be on ball joints, right? I will say that the ankle rocker movement is not as fluid as it was on the Kokyo-kyoke, but we do get some ankle rocker there, and we can twist and turn the feet around. For the tail, we get several ball joints, which allows the tail to move very nice. And where do we stop with those ball joints? Well, we're going to stop at about right there. So that last segment here is going to be all sculpt. So generally speaking, for Biogoji here, look at that, look at that. Look at that, come on, come on. Almost touching the dorsal plates. Biogoji, articulation. Basically, they went for cosmetics here. So if you're not a fan of gaps, then congratulations. There's no reason to skip on this. It's great. And if you like articulation, I've been fiddling around with this and it's great. So he looks great, moves great. I mean, what more can you ask for? Very good. Now here's going to be a size comparison, so this way you can see exactly how big BioGoji is going to be. And I hinted at this earlier. Yeah, he's going to be on the small side, which is a fantastically awesome thing that Tamashii Nations did. You see, for a while there, they were doing what they referred to as relative scaling for some of their Godzillas, i.e. Heisei is going to be bigger, Showa is going to be smaller, but Showa was really, really undersized. Here, for BioGoji, he's perfectly scaled. Biollante was not in scale with the rest of the line, intending to be 120 meters. BioGoji here fits perfectly in scale with Biollante. It's a match made in heaven. Gotta love it. Yeah, and goes in well with your other Heisei Godzillas. So fantastic. Now, here's something that I bet you were waiting for. Here's a side-by-side comparison with the Kokyo Godzilla 1989. Now, this is going to be the one that lights up and plays music and roars and all that fun stuff. And yeah, there's obviously going to be a size comparison difference. And I will say that in terms of articulation, the Kokyo, he can bend his elbows a little bit better, which I think is great to recreate that classic hands to the pecs pose that the Heisei Godzilla basically does every single time it's on the screen, which the MonsterArts one cannot really do. But other than that, everything is pretty much, in terms of articulation, better on the MonsterArts, and even, I would say, the paint for the dorsal plates as well. So your mileage may vary, but the Kokyo is doing something completely different than the SH MonsterArts. All right, so buy now, skip, or wait for a deal. This figure has an MSRP of $95. Yuji Sakai sculpted this one, and this is basically the suit that he is known for. Like I said before, it doesn't matter what the scale is. If he sculpts this, then you are going to get what is probably going to be the closest you can to the on-screen representation of Godzilla as he appeared in Godzilla vs. Biollante. The articulation for this figure is really good despite having essentially the engineering that was used way back when the line started. There are no accessories that are included here with this release, which is really, really disappointing, especially for the price tag. We have a Biollante without an acid sap. We have another chance to go back and do a Heisei era heat beam. So I do question as to why no accessories. That's a bit of a bummer. That being said, I like it. It's a good release. As I said closer to the top of this review, if they were to have just sold this as just a simply gray primed figure out on the market and we had to paint it ourselves, and that was it, not gonna lie, I would still say that this is good. Obviously, it would be at a cheaper price, but this figure truly is good. I think that if you're looking for a standard Heisei Godzilla, this is a nice contender for your collection. And if you're a fan of Biollante, Godzilla vs. Biollante, BioGoji, this is a great option for you as well. Is this going to be perfect? No. But if you are looking for this representation in this scale in your collection, I mean, you really can't do much better. Maybe the price could be better, but otherwise, yeah, it's a good release.
Well, collectors, that brings us to the end of the video today, and I just wanted to take a second to thank you so much for watching. Now, you've heard a lot from me. I'd like to hear a little bit from you. Drop in the comments down below whether or not you liked it, you hated it, or maybe you were somewhere in between. I also want to take an extra second here for a nice, humongous thank you to all the patrons for SDR over the last month who have really helped the channel grow into what it can be today. So to all of you, 2 big thumbs up. Thank you very much. And now the end card should be popping up, which will give you a few clickable links, like maybe to subscribe or head on over to my Patreon, or some short URLs like to my social media or to my Teespring store. There's also a video I hand selected for you, so if you want to watch another STR video, I hand selected some good content for you to watch, so definitely check out that video. Thank you again so much for watching, and I'll catch ya in the next video.